Ladies and gentlemen, I was fortunate enough to go on this gentleman's show, his podcast, his YouTube channel some months ago, and I thought, what better time to speak to this gentleman than right before the Eagles kick off their preseason against the New York Jets. We got Philly Mike joining us from of course, Philly Talk Podcast. Philly Mike, what's going on, brother?
Hanging in there, ready for some football, man. Tomorrow can't come fast enough.
I know you also talk a lot of Sixers on your show, so I'm going to ask you a Sixers question at the end. But right now, make sure you guys are subscribing, of course, to Philly Talk Podcast, and then also follow Mike on his Twitter account as well, at Philly_Mike25. Mike, what's the 25 for?
It's just stuck with me. I was a big Shady fan, and I just like the number 25. I play a lot of like careers on like 2K since 2K's been out, and 25 has always been my number, so I just been rocking with it for a while.
Good for you, brother. All right, the word is out from Nick Sirianni 2 days ago that he is going to play his starters for a couple of snaps. What do you make of just giving the starters at least a couple of snaps, a series or two in the first preseason game?
It makes sense. Nick Sirianni has been cautious since he's been the coach. I will say his rookie season, I criticized the bubble wrap per se strategy, but coming out of the 2021 season pretty healthy, lips are sealed this time. You know what I mean? So last year, I believe Jalen Hurts played a little bit in game 1, 2. Then he got sick, and then they just kind of scrapped it the rest of the way. I'm interested to see how this team goes tomorrow against the Jets. I am excited to see football, but I understand that it is the preseason, and although you want to get all these puzzle pieces together to see how they work, mainly on the defensive side, I think it's smart way. I think that's the way the whole NFL is trending. Just protect your players, make sure they're good, because the best availability is to be there on Sundays, not for preseason games, but the real Sundays. So I understand it.
Yeah, you can't make the club in the tub, as my old friend Hollis Thomas like to say. What about this? So when you look at the preseason, a lot of people say you can't look at the stats in practice, can't look at the stats in the preseason, can't really tell a lot. When you do watch preseason, though, one thing I look for is just, hey, look like you belong. If you're a rookie, look like you belong with the professionals now. Also, from a head coaching standpoint, just look like the team's well organized. Those are the only real two things that I could take away from any preseason matchup. What do you look for in preseason games?
Well, I look exactly for what you said, just to act like you belong there, know what you're doing, penalties, the stupid mistakes that you're like, if you saw it in practice, you should have got rid of it, at least for the public eyes, because it goes to show how much you've been doing in your training camp. You chose to have 55-minute practices, hour practices for the majority. If you thought you needed to get stuff fixed, you could have still been cautious, but you could have kept them guys out there more. So it's just a preparation standpoint. Other than that, it's just to see all the bubble players like the Britton Coveys, right? The Jason Huntleys, the guys we heard step up in camp via the beat reporters, because we really can't see nothing. You want to see how they do against other people trying to stay on their roster as well, right? You got a guy for the Jets playing defense who's been touted like Britton Covey has. Is their bubble guy better than our bubble guy? And so I look at that stuff. I am always so excited for the first preseason game, and then after the first preseason game, I'm like, do we really got to do 2 more of these? Because now it's just the first one because it's been so long. But after that, I'm with you. It's like organized, good. Does it really matter? Let's get to the season. So that's how my take is on preseason. First one excited, the other one just like, yeah.
I consider it like the nice antipasto. It's a nice appetizer. The main course is on the way. That's what it lets me know. It's, you know what it is? It's not even that. It's the bread on the table. They put the bread on the table, you got a little bit of olive oil, and we're all about to jump in. Is there one guy in particular, a non-bubble guy, a guy that's going to get regular reps, already this season that you're really looking forward to seeing getting his first, or, his first live game action of the season?
Rookie-wise you're talking about?
Rookie-wise, or just a guy that you're curious about?
Well, I still want to go to the rookie and the Kobe Dean. I believe that he is going to be a future linebacker. He's going to be an Eagle for a long time. We heard that, he's played a lot of second team, tried to do first team. He still plays fast. He's cerebral, but it looks like the beginning predictions were by week 1, he might be a starter. It looks like he's going to be a role player, at least early on in the season. I'm looking to see how he attacks this preseason game, playing against guys who are bigger than him, because one of his knocks was his size. You can't judge a man's heart and being as quick as and smart as he is, but the size was a concern for some people. That could be why he fell to the third. Also, the injury report. So I'm curious to see how Nakobe Dean does on NFL speed with that size.
Mm-hmm. How about Jordan Davis, another rookie that apparently has been dominating people so far in training camp?
That's why I'm not as curious to see, because I feel like Jordan Davis belongs. Like, I feel like I don't need to watch. Now, again, I can't take anything for granted, right? But Jordan Davis is not a concern, as I wonder how he's going to do. My thing is, when is he going to start taking one of Hargrave or Fletch, not total snaps, but kind of pushing them to keep everybody evenly? It might not happen week one, but I'm a big believer in Jordan Davis, not just stopping the run. I think he will creep into open eyes like, dang, he can rush the passer a little bit. Just because he didn't do it at Georgia, I think it was more they didn't need him to than that he couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Is there a guy on offense that you're looking at right now that you just want to see either the chemistry between him and Jalen Hurts, whether that's A.J. Brown, whether that's Quez Watkins in maybe a more important role this time around? Is there somebody that you're looking at offensively that you want to see how they handle things in the first preseason game?
Yeah, I'm still curious about the whole Miles Sanders dynamic, because of, early in camp, we saw that Kenny G got some first team reps, and, us YouTubers, beat writers all ran with it. Oh my goodness, look at this, because we saw the tea leaves fall from last year, right? Miles Sanders made some bonehead plays going out of bounds, a little bit of fumbles, couldn't stay healthy, and Kenny G got opportunities. And I say this stat all the time. Last year, Kenny G had 107 touches, and 40 of them went for a first down or a touchdown. That's 37.5%. He's a playmaker. And so early in camp, seeing that, I said, dang, is Miles Sanders done? But he's got the majority of first team reps. He keeps talking about opportunities on John Clark's podcast. I really want to see him, but because he's a veteran guy, I'm looking at just Quez Watkins. So as you said, you got all these stud names. How does he fit in? How many targets supposedly Goddard and AJ received in camp? Whose production lessens when Devontae comes back? Is it AJ's? Is it Goddard's? Because they've been the target monsters thus far for Jalen Hurts. Who loses production when Devontae comes back? Because I'm sure he's going to be a staple of this offense.
How do you think this whole Jalen Rigor situation works out? Do you think he makes the opening day roster there for week one, or do you think he'll be traded before then?
I mean, if the Broncos want to do us a favor, I'm just kidding. Look, at the end of the day, they're human. I poo-poo some of his games and all that, criticize as nicely as I can. I am a fan, and in the heat of the moment, we say things and do things. But, I think that if he ever had a chance to get right, and I'm not saying get right by being like a main character in this offense, but contributing, it's this year. He's came in the right size this year. He had his head held up pretty good. He had some stuff in the offseason via social media, but I mean, just hearing him talk to the media first time in a long time, he looks to be in the best physical and mental shape he's been. So whether it is with the Eagles or another team, he knows it's a business. He knows he's floating around and on the bubble, kind of. He heard Nick Sirianni said he's only going to get 2 or 3 targets, so make the most of them. And so I think you're going to get the best of Jalen Rigor. I just can't pinpoint what the best is anymore. At one time, I thought he had a skill set that we could use. It's just been unfortunate. So I can't really hold my breath too much more, but I don't see him leaving the Eagles unless something falls in our laps via another team.
So something that I don't feel like enough people have talked about yet. If you do trade him, like, first off, just that he's not on the team is already an admission that you failed and you messed that up. I mean, Justin Jefferson's career is enough a testament to that. And then obviously Jalen Rigor's career to this point is a testament to that. But if you trade a first-round pick and you don't get back, which you're not going to get back a first-round pick, I don't even think you get back a second-round pick. I think you're still looking to get a third-round pick. What an admission that is. So it would almost be like you would have to package him with another pick just to make sure that you don't have a complete decline on that investment.
Yeah, or let the receivers, let them be on the roster come week one. let the receivers that Howie Roseman did acquire in Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, and A.J. Brown and Zach Pascal feast, and then find a scenario before the trade deadline where you can throw them away and you won't really get judged. You gave a first for a fifth because of the production of the guys you got in the last 2 years. So it's a little bit like, look at this, as I try to distract you from getting rid of a failed piece.
Right. As if it's a secret. Like, oh no, he's doing great. What are you talking about? When it comes to overall expectations, I'll ask you about the Eagles first. Generally speaking, when you go into this season, preseason just about to get underway. When you go into this season, what are your overall expectations for this Eagles team? Division winner, deep run in the playoffs, Super Bowl. What are your expectations for the upcoming season?
It's definitely to win this division because of how Dallas went down a little bit. I still think it's a 1-2 race. Not really counting Washington out. They can make something happen, but I still think it's Eagles, Dallas. I think both teams get close, or I think both teams are over 10 wins, just looking at their schedule and our schedule. But I think we can get to that, 11, maybe 12 mark, win a division, and then we go from there. My only goal is to win a division as of now. And then once we get there, we talk about it. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. You don't want to jinx anything.
Yeah. To me, you win a playoff game, you're going the right track. But saying that winning a playoff game is enough now is because we're far away. You win that playoff game, all things go out the window now. Now you're going to keep going because you see you must have done something to get to that spot that you really didn't think you could do. So I know this team is still putting things together, and a lot of people don't fully believe in Jalen Hurts to lead this team, but I think a division win will go a long way for this group of guys.
All right. Speaking of Jalen Hurts right there, who is Jalen Hurts? The question is always, and it's going to be for the remainder of the season, when the season starts, for another year, it'll be, can he be the franchise quarterback here in Philadelphia? So I think the best way to pose it is at least, will he start again next year for the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you think he'll play well enough at the end of this year to warrant a contract, ignore the incoming quarterback class, and be the quarterback again next year?
Because of the picks we have, it's really hard to say, but I'm going to say early on that I think he impresses us all. I don't think, I'm not here to say he's a finished product. And I talk and I stress this on my channel because he's working on his stuff. And I think he has improved even last year, September to December, and just all the reports that go on. If he is a guy who made 10 times in a game where he ran out of pocket early or, missed a read or this, that, and the third last year, just say 10 on average per game. I'm just throwing that number out there. Mm-hmm. This year, he's going to do it 5 times. So I think you're going to see some of the same last year Jalen Hurts, but at a lesser rate. You're going to see the improvements, but there's always going to be a little bit of rust there because you don't just grow a magical game overnight or over one season. But if he did it like 8-9 times last year, I think it's going to be 4 or 5 times this year. And just the little pieces that he adds to his game is going to be enough to say, wow, he's doing this at 24. He took a step. So now I'm willing to bet on his character that there's more steps to be taken. To me, I'm like at the end of the day, 17 to 21, I rated him in quarterbacks overall last year coming into this year, including his legs, because that got to be included as well.
Sure.
If he can get inside the top 15, 13, 14, well, now you go from 18 to 14. And so you think that the steps can continue. I'm willing to buy in. So I'm a believer, and it's gonna be a bumpy ride, but I'm a believer.
I had him right around there as well. Here's the toughest question. One of the toughest questions I think I can ask someone. By the time, let's say the Eagles, they win the division, they do what we're expecting, 11, 12 wins, right? Who is the star of the show? Who do you think will be the star of the show? Do you think it will be Jalen Hurts? Do you think it will be Jonathan Gannon? Or do you think it will be the Eagles rushing attack again? Who will be the star of that show?
It's tough.
If the Eagles are as successful as you as I think, will it be because the quarterback play is that great? Will it because they've gone to another running offense? Or is it because the defense is dominant?
I'm going to side with, for us, the defense to be dominant. I think that, barring Jonathan Gannon really not being qualified to do something, you know what I mean? This is a defense that he should be able to run exactly who he says he wants to be. All the versatility fronts, this, that, and the third. There should be really no excuses because you got the youthful guys who are going to shock us, and you got the guys who are just coming into their prime, and Kaiser White, Son Reddick, and these guys. So I think Jonathan Gannon will be the reason why, or definitely be the reason why we lose too. So you know what I mean? We'll see.
Let's do this. I'm going to couch this as saying it's the worst question I'll ever ask anyone ever. What's your prediction on Eagles-Jets preseason game number 1?
Yeah. Well, I did say this, though.
What do you got?
It's not really a prediction on the whole game, but I said if Jalen Hurts gets 2 series, he's coming away with 7.
Ooh,
so okay. 2 series, a touchdown from the starters. If he gets the full 2 series, I tweeted that earlier today. It's garnered some good stuff and some bad stuff. You know what I mean? That's how it is. You say Jalen Hurts, you get 50-50 interactions.
All right. I love it. No, I love it. All right. Now, because you got your Sixers hat on today in front of, excuse me 1 second. For the people on the podcast, my man Mike's wearing a Sixers hat with his classic Eagles logo backdrop. All right. So here's the question. You traded Maxey for Kevin Durant. Oh, wow. It hurts your heart to say this. I already know.
It does. And I probably say no right now.
No right now. Okay.
I literally just did a podcast about that, and I still 10, 15 minutes in, I couldn't come to my answer because I would have to, like, right now it's still not fully real in my head.
Okay.
And I really got to siphon all through the baggage that KD has. Is he one of the best ball players in the league? Yes. Could he make this a championship team? Yes. But it can also destroy this team. So it's like, if you're a gambler, it's a high risk, high reward. I believe Maxey in 2 to 3 years is going to be, you know, a top 15 player, top 20 player, but can he get inside the top 10? That's what you got to ask. If you believe you can get inside the top 10, don't do it. If you don't believe it, then you got to roll the dice, because KD could get you a championship with a 2-3 year window.
Yeah, it's hard, but I would have to pull the trigger on the deal. I love Tyrese Maxey. I think he's got all the work ethic in the world. Like, I root for guys like him and Jalen Hurts. So, but I think Tyrese Maxey is a more talented basketball player than Jalen Hurts is a quarterback in football. I root hard for both of them because they both seem like great guys. They both have this, like killer mentality about them that I really like, and they just work their asses off, the both of them. But with that, and I'm not a big Kevin Durant fan at all, but if Kevin Durant's available and you could get him here in Philadelphia, because it's not just about Maxey. It's like, when's the next time you're going to have a center like Joel Embiid or a guard like James Harden? And it's like, I think I'm just flip-flopping, not flip-flopping on my answer, but flip-flopping the windows. Either win now or still have the opportunity to win over the next 10 years. But you don't know what you're going to surround Tyrese Maxey with over that 10-year period. Go ahead.
Let me ask you, though, what if it's, you would still have to probably tie Harris, Thibault, and picks to that too. So, like, you know, I also want to be able to, you got to get 5 guys out there and have at least two guys off the bench, kind of, you know what I mean? So,
well, yeah, so here's the thing with Thibault. I know I don't need that defense anymore when I have PJ Tucker. And you still spent most of the offseason building up that bench. The main thing that holds the Sixers back in any type of deal is the picks. And Tobias Harris would absolutely have to. And I'm actually a big Tobias Harris fan. I like Tobias Harris. I just think he struggled last year. But I don't have any problem parting ways with him in a deal because you got to, you got to get the money to match. That doesn't hurt me at all. It's like when I was making this point yesterday during the show. Ben Simmons leaving, don't let the door hit you in the ass. Markelle Fultz being traded, another number 1 overall pick. Yeah, we were done anyway. See you later, right? Tobias Harris doesn't hurt. Matisse Thybulle once loved, and then after the playoffs last year, vaccination or not, the way he came back was terrible. So it was like, what the only guy that hurts right here is Tyrese Maxey because, and I made the point yesterday, he's just a damn sweetheart is what he is. Like all the things that's great about his basketball game and all stuff, but he's a sweetheart on top of it. And I think he just, you know what, Mike, he just gets us. He just gets us. Yes,
that is true. That is true.
Yeah. Philly Mike, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. It was long overdue, and that's on me because I'm a jerk. But it's great to talk to you. Preseason Eagles football nonetheless, and a little Sixers as well. Philly Mike, thank you so much. Make sure you guys follow him, of course, on his Twitter account at Philly_Mike25 for Philly Talk Podcast, and also subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. Philly Mike, thanks so much, brother. Great to talk to you.
Peace.